Corner MMA. What is going on, Dan?
Not much. Just chilling.
Yeah, same here. I'm ready to get this fight card started right up, though. UFC
269, the last pay-per-view of the year.
The sex number. All right. Is this the last card of the year for real?
Last pay-per-view card.
Oh, pay-per-view card. Okay, cool.
There's going to be Derrick Lewis versus your boy Dawkins.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be a fun one. All right. So let's start this up. We're going to start with Priscila Caceres versus Gillian Roberts. Would you like to start?
I can take that one.
Sounds good.
All right, yeah. So Gillian Robertson is like a minus 400 favorite the last I checked. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, she's the minus 400 favorite, minus 380. Like, it's crazy how much of a favorite she is in this fight. I don't know. She looked pretty decent in her last fight against Gina Mazzani, but like I know she does struggle like in the ground. You know, she's definitely she's definitely the striker out of the two. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
But she could definitely clip Gillian Robertson. You know what I'm saying? So that makes me think like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, why are the odds that much in Gillian Robertson's favor? Gillian Robertson, obviously, I think she's coming off of a loss or two.
Yeah, 2 fight losing skid.
Yeah, like she had a bunch of submission underground grappling matches, and but she lost a UD to Miranda Maverick and Tyler Santos, which is nothing to hang your head about because Tyler Santos is an absolute fucking beast, as we have.
Yeah, so is Miranda Maverick. She's a killer.
Yeah, so she fought 2 killers. Caceres is not necessarily the killer that they are, in my opinion. So to get right into it, I think Caceres really needs that takedown defense to be up there. I mean, we saw what happened last time with Gillian Robertson when she just tried to pull guard against Tyler Santos the whole time, and Tyler Santos was like, all right, I'll just take top control and win every round. Yeah. That's what happened. But I don't think Caceres she doesn't have like the fight IQ or she's not on the level of Tyler Santos. Tyler Santos is in the talk. Like, I would love to see her fight Valentina Shevchenko after seeing what she did to Joanne.
Yeah, she's rising. She's sick. Absolutely insane.
Knocked out Joanne. Joanne Wood. Jojo. Like, who's ever knocked out Jojo?
No, I don't know.
I don't think anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. She could have gotten TK at some point, but still, like, she fucking got dropped bad.
Yeah. Santos is the real deal.
Yeah. So to get that sidetrack out of the way, Robertson's fought, I think, higher level competition. With those 2 ladies in particular, Miranda Maverick and Santos. So I'm gonna ride with Gillian Robertson, but stay away from betting on this one because Caceres can catch her with an uppercut like she did to Shannon Dobson, or I believe Shannon Dobson.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna totally agree with you. Gillian Robertson. I don't agree with the odds, but I'm gonna agree with you. Gillian Robertson, 2-3 in her last 5 on a 2 fight losing skid to those absolute killers, like you said, Dan. Well-rounded, crafty vet, although she's still 26 years old, which is kind of crazy, and has 10 UFC fights. Minus 0.5 striking differential, 49% accuracy, 2.5 takedowns per fight at 47% accuracy, only 16% takedown defense. She does, like you said, she'll give up ground control and go for submissions and stuff like that. So that's kind of like that's a downside. Pulls guard a lot. But she is a BJJ black belt, so you got to watch out for her submissions. She's finished 6 of her 9 wins by sub. She's going to be taking on Priscila Caceres, 2-3 in the UFC on a 2 fight winning streak over 1-4 Gina Mazzani and 1-4 Shanna Dobson. So not the best competition.
The one for Shanna Dobson was, what's her name, though?
What?
Who does Shannon Dobson fucking? Well, she gassed herself out actually.
Shannon Dobson sucks, dude. You're on this. You like Shannon Dobson.
Yeah, but she did beat Maria Agapova, and Agapova looked fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, she's just, but maybe I think Agapova had to develop a little bit more because she wasn't that good a couple of years ago.
And Agapova came out literally looking to knock her head off within the first 30 seconds and blew her gas.
Yeah,
in the first three and a half minutes of that fight, her gas tank was going.
Yeah, that is fair to say, actually. Caceres had a tough start to the UFC, leaving her with a minus 2.2 striking differential, has yet to land a takedown, only 63% takedown defense. Recently moved her training camp to Team Figueiredo in early 2021. So maybe a change will help. But overall, Caceres is pretty one-sided. Although she has knockout power, she got dominated with control time in that Gina Mazzani fight, but she was able to TKO her in the second round. But I don't think she'll be able to do the same against Gillian Robertson. So, yeah, Dan, I'm going to go with Gillian Robertson. Not excited to start the night.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And we are agreeing on the insane minus 400 favorite Gillian Robertson. And we're going to move right into the next one. Randy Costa versus Tony Kelly. And all right, I'm going to get right into it. Tony Kelly, 1-1 in the UFC, most recently coming off a unanimous decision win over Ali Alaquizi, who would consider to be a low-level competition, I would say. He has a slightly negative striking differential with 4.5 strikes per minute at 47% accuracy. He has yet to record a takedown and has been taken down 10 times at 50% accuracy over his first 2 UFC fights. He's taken on Randy Costa, 2-2 in the UFC, coming off an insane fight against Adrian Yanez, where he lost when he gassed out. He threw the balls to the wall, went crazy the first round, trying to finish Yanez.
Adrian Yanez first round.
Yeah, he, and then that second.
Yanez, baby Masvidal.
Yeah, he's a killer, and I totally buy the hype. I say he might even beat Sean O'Malley, but who's to say? Randy Costa gassed out in the second. It was a banger fight, absolutely insane. He averages 8.6 strikes per minute, a plus 1.8 striking differential. Has yet to been taken down. Has yet to been taken down in the UFC. He also hasn't attempted a takedown in the UFC, which is good news for Kelly because that seems to be Kelly's downfall. This one isn't as open and shut as it seems. Randy Costa's cardio is very questionable, and we've seen him gas out a couple of times. It was not just like a one-time freak thing. We've seen him gas out a couple of times. With all 6 of his wins coming in the first round, he's never seen a third round in his pro career. Oh, actually, not even in his amateur career. He's never seen a third round.
And both of his losses came in the second round. The only time he's been to the second round, he got finished in both of those fights.
Exactly. That being said, his striking is sick. So I think he'll be able to get it done in this, but this is not an open and shut fight.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm still going to take Costa in this one. I think his striking is just elite, and I think he's able to put Tony Kelly away. I would actually put money on this fight to not go the distance and bet on Randy Costa.
That might be a solid idea. I think Randy Costa is able to bounce back. I think this is a bounce back fight for him. I think he'll get it done. Tony Kelly is not that, he is low level competition where Randy Costa's ceiling can be, his potential is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he fucking went toe to, he brought it to Adrian Yanez.
It was a sick fight. He won that first round wholeheartedly. And we're going to agree on this. You mind if I get the next one, Dan? We're going to take.
Yeah, you want to do Ryan Hall.
Yeah, so we're both agreeing. We got Randy Costa in that one. Moving right into the next one, the people's main event, Ryan Hall versus Derrick Minor.
Ryan Hall is the most overrated fighter.
Ryan Hall, aka
not overrated, but he's such a special. He's like the epitome of when you only have like one thing to go to in MMA. Like,
I
look what it.
disagree. I think his striking's good, and I'm going to talk about it right now. Ryan Hall, by the way, he is the most feared man this side of the Mississippi. He is feared. He was ducked for years because people.
I mean, yeah, mission game is absolutely elite,
Yeah,
and he goes for your legs, which is dangerous because you can blow out,
of course, yeah, that's his thing, a leg lock
and everything, Like,
and
that's why people don't want to fight him.
He's coming off his first UFC loss to a murderer in his own right, Ilia Topuria. Ryan Hall's a third
prospect list, by the way. I'm just saying.
Ryan Hall's a third degree BJJ black belt. Not to mention 10 gold medals in BJJ championships, including World No Gi championships, World Jiu Jitsu championships. His game is pretty well known by now. Pulls guard a lot. Honestly, he has to pull guard because people are terrified to take him down. He's never been taken down in the UFC so far. It's only been him pulling guard, but his striking is enough about like his grappling game. His striking is actually very underrated. And there's a narrative that, like you said earlier, Dan, that he's one-sided.
He is one-sided. Don't say his striking is like.
Oh no, I'm not saying his striking is elite whatsoever. But
it's below average still.
No, I would say it's decent to average.
I can't agree with that.
I totally agree with that. He's only been outstruck once in the UFC. He knocked down Darren Elkins twice in one fight. One other person was able to do that. One person was able to knock Darren Elkins down twice in one fight, and that man is Alexander Volkanovski. But enough about Ryan Hall. He's taken on Derrick Minor.
Was his spinning back kick a little lucky?
It's called skill, Dan. It's not called luck. He's taken on Derrick Minor, 2-3 in the UFC, losing his last time out to who else but Darren Elkins. He also has a very grappling heavy approach, winning 22 of his 26 wins by submission. Fights out of my favorite MMA gym, Glory MMA. Does have a lot of pro losses, 12 to be exact. He's been finished 11 of those 12, so not a good sign. 8 of those by submission, fighting a guy like Ryan Hall. His stats are pretty good, plus 1.3 striking differential, 3 takedowns a fight, 70% accuracy, no slouch whatsoever. But a guy that I see that might be prone to getting submitted on the ground against a guy who has possibly the best submission game in the entire UFC, I'm going to have to go with the latter. So I'm going to take Ryan Hall in that all day.
Yeah, I mean, analytically, you just look at this and it's just skewed in one direction. It's skewed to Ryan Hall. Like, even if he, like, I mean, Ilia Topuria knocked him the fuck out. Let's be real.
He did break his hand.
He broke his hand?
Ryan Hall did, yeah.
Yeah, but like Ilia, he just kept going and diving for his legs. He kept doing that over and over and over, and Ilia's like, "All right, I'll time one of these bad boys."
That wasn't a good look. I'm not saying that was a good look whatsoever. I think Ilia Topuria beat the shit out of him, but that's a different level of competition.
And Ilia Topuria is a good grappler either, and he didn't want any part of that ground game. So, that's saying something. Yeah, I think this fight hits the ground at some point, and I think when the fight does hit the ground, I feel bad for Derrick Minor because Ryan Hall's gonna grab a limb and make it feel very uncomfortable.
You might be right about that. All right, dope. So we're both agreeing. We're both gonna go Ryan Hall in that one. And we're going to move right into the next one, which is Alex Perez versus Matt Schnell.
Yes, sir. This one's honestly fairly easy for me.
Me too.
Do we say who we got at the same time?
Right. Alex Perez. All right. It wasn't the same time, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, this guy's fucking a killer out there.
And you know what? I really like Matt Schnell, too. I think he's got a pretty good game, but I don't think he can take on Alex Perez.
No, like Alex Perez lost to fucking Dave. His last loss is to Davison Figueiredo, and before that it was to Joseph Benavidez back when he was
the number one contender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was 2018 Joseph Benavidez, you know?
Yeah, he was only one person was able to beat him.
He stopped Juicia Formiga with leg kicks. This guy's just dangerous. Like, I'll get into Matt Schnell a little bit. I mean, he lost to Rogerio Bontorin.
I like
Had a split decision win, very close fight against Tyson Nam, and got knocked out by Alexandra Pantoja. Those are his last three. Going into this one, that's not a lot of momentum. I just think Perez is on a higher level. It's just that simple. If these guys weren't like, where are these guys ranked?
Alex Perez is 5, and Matt Schnell, I believe, is 8. I could be wrong about Matt Schnell, but I know. Oh no! Oh no! He doesn't have a stat right now because he was fighting at bantamweight, so it's all fucked up. I think so. He's not ranked, but I think he was top 10 at one time.
Either way, I got Alex Perez all day. That's like basically a lock for me.
Yeah, I really like Matt Schnell, but Alex Perez 3-2 in his last 5. Like Dan said, only lost to the best and second best guy in the entire division, and actually only has 2 UFC losses, and those being the only 2. Very well-rounded fighter. Background in wrestling, BJJ boxing. He's got a plus 1.5 striking differential, 3 takedowns per fight at 45% accuracy, 87% takedown defense. Taking on Matt Schnell, 3-2 in his last 5 as well. Moving up in weight. Last time out, lost, and moving back down to flyweight in this one. He has an even striking differential at 38% accuracy, a little low. Only 50% takedown defense, pretty low. I see Alex Perez taking this fight. He's just better wherever the fight goes, to be frank. Except maybe one, I don't know. Matt Schnell's submission game is pretty good. I do see Perez getting some takedowns, so he's got to watch out for that. But other than that, I see Alex Perez in this all day.
Yeah, as long as he keeps it standing, it's his fight all day.
Yeah, Alex Perez can take it to the ground. All right, so cool. We're both agreeing. Again, we're both going to go with Alex Perez. And we're going to move right into the next one. Erin Blanchfield versus Miranda Maverick.
Yeah, this is a battle of 2 young gunners coming up right here.
Dude, this fight is actually awesome.
I'll take it since I kind of don't want to take the next 2.
Yeah.
What's it called? I think I watched the fight over. Miranda Maverick beat Macy Barber.
So she beat her so obviously. She beat her like I don't know what
that was like, I get it, close fights aren't robberies, but that was in my opinion, that was a robbery.
I'm glad you say that, because I always say that people have like, I'm much more lenient with the term robbery, I think. So I'll constantly be like, I always talk about Bobby Green getting robbed, and he's been robbed more times than not. But yeah, I'm glad that you said that in this one.
Yeah, but Erin Blanchfield, on the other hand, she's fucking dope on her own hand. Her only loss is to Tracy Cortez, who's killing it herself, you know?
Yeah, great.
She did well in Invicta. She got right into the UFC, and then she got that impressive win over Sarah Alpar. The odds on this are fairly even, but I'm gonna go with Miranda Maverick in this. I mean, she has experience with ranked 125ers already, and I think she beat Macy Barber, who is ranked 9-10. Like, I think so. Erin Blanchfield very well could be there or get there, but she's 22 years old. Miranda Maverick is
only 24
years old. They're both so young. Yeah. They're the future of the division. Let's be real here. Once Valentina hangs up the gloves, which she'll do in the next 3 years, I'd assume.
It's going to be a mad rush for that belt, and there's a lot of young talent that could take it.
And these are two of the ladies that could take it. So I could see both of them fighting for the title after Valentino hangs up the gloves.
Definitely.
So, I'm gonna take Miranda Maverick in this fight, but it really could go either way.
Yeah, it's like a 50-50 basically. But I'm gonna start with Miranda Maverick.
This is my stay away from of the night.
Yeah, that's a great one. Stay away from this one. Got robbed. Miranda Maverick got robbed so bad in that fight against Macy Barber. I feel bad for her. She outstruck her 82-38. Stuffed five out of 6 of her above Barber's takedowns. It was a true robbery, and that was all thanks to a dear friend of the podcast, Sal D'Amato, possibly the worst referee of all time. She has a plus 2.1 striking differential, very technical, crisp Muay Thai, 1.7 takedowns per fight, 80% accuracy, 70% takedown defense. Taking on Erin Blanchfield, who won her debut in her last time out. Dan said it before. She fought in Invicta. She beat the likes of Kay Hansen, Victoria Leonardo. And then she did lose a split decision to Tracy Cortez. She has a background in BJJ with a black belt, longtime kickboxing background as well. Both fighters are very similar, super well-rounded with Muay Thai backgrounds or kickboxing backgrounds.
I'm saying, like, they're the same. They're like cloned copies of each other, basically.
Yeah, they both are BJJ practitioners, and then one's a Muay Thai, one's kickboxing. It's like practically the same thing. This fight, I expect the odds to be a pick'em. Do you know what they're at, Dan?
I'll take a look right now. Right now, Miranda Maverick's sitting at a minus 135, so it's basically a pick'em.
Yeah, it's a small favorite, but I expected it to be like
Blanchfield. Like, it's just stay away from Central.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm a huge fan of Miranda Maverick. I don't know if there's bias in that, but I'm gonna pick Miranda Maverick in this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a fan too, so there could be some bias in there.
There might be a little bias, but you know what? That's good sometimes. So we're both agreeing. We're both gonna go with Fear the Miranda Maverick. Gonna move right into the next one. Andre Munhoz versus Eric Anders.
Yes, sir.
Andre Munhoz 5-0 in the UFC. He retired Jacare Souza in his last time out. The only man to finish Jacare with a submission. Finished 17 of his 20 wins, 14 of them by submission. He has a slightly positive, plus 0.25 striking differential and 3 takedowns per fight at 40% accuracy. His BJJ is stellar, absolutely stellar. His stand-up isn't anything to write home about. He's taken on Eric Anders, who's 3-1-1 in his last 5. Wins mostly by KO TKO. He has a minus 0.7 striking differential, 1.5 takedowns per fight at 76% takedown defense. He does pretty well against grapplers. He defeated Darren Stewart twice, basically. And he also beat both Gerald Mearshart and Vincius Moreira, all guys who are grapplers. And that's just within his last 5 fights. His takedown defense is going to get tested in this fight, without a doubt. But I think Andre Munhoz will do enough to get it done. So I'm going to go with Andre Munhoz in this one.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I think that Anders is able to stuff those takedowns and keep it standing. I mean, I think Munhoz has the higher ceiling of the two.
Yeah.
But I do think that he's your boy, Eric Anders, is able to stuff it, keep it standing, and just, throw bombs.
That was actually refreshing. We finally disagreed. I feel like we haven't disagreed yet.
Yeah.
I think we haven't, right? Yeah, we haven't. So that actually felt kind of good. That was refreshing. Awesome. We're disagreeing. I'm going to go with Andre Munhoz. Dan's going to go with Eric Anders, and we're going to move right into the next one, which is Bruno Silva versus Jordan Wright. And you want me to take this one again, Dan? 2-2?
Yes, please.
Got it. Jordan Wright, 2-1-1 in the UFC, was supposed to fight Julian Marquez a couple of months ago. Marquez pulled out. He's finished all 12 of his pro fights, 7 of those by KO, TKO. He has a brown belt in karate and a brown ECOT in Pencak Silat. And that's just basically like this crazy mixed martial art. I'm gonna read this to you because I think it's hilarious. It's a full-bodied fighting form incorporating strikes, grappling, and throwing in addition to weaponry. Every part of the body is used and subject to attack.
He'll hit you with your dick.
Dude, it's fucking for real. Whatever this is, I've never heard of it, but I had to say that. I was like, what the fuck? Which I guess would explain why he's a karate guy has some good submission grappling game. I guess that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
He's been KO TKO'd in half of his UFC fights though. One no contest against Anthony Hernandez where Hernandez knocked TKO'd him, but Hernandez popped for weed after. So I still count that as a dub for Fluffy. So he's been KO'd basically 2 out of 4, 50%, 2 out of 4 fights. He does average 7 strikes per minute at 60% accuracy, has a slightly negative striking differential, has yet to been taken down in the UFC. He's taken on Bruno Silva, who's 2-0 in the UFC so far, 2 KO wins over Andrew Sanchez and Wellington Turman. He was getting dominated in his last time out with control time against Andrew Sanchez, but had a great comeback in the third. He's finished 18 of his 21 wins, all by KO TKO. He's on a 6-fight winning streak, all by KO TKO. His takedown defense is questionable, but Jordan Wright has yet to register a takedown in the UFC. So I expect. What'd you say?
Jordan Wright's a striker.
Yeah, he does have those decent submission though, but he hasn't shot for a takedown yet in UFC.
Nah, he likes doing those spinning back kicks and shit.
And Jordan Wright is pretty chinny. So
I mean, he got knocked out by Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah, but he got knocked out by Anthony Hernandez, who's a grappler. You know, and he's going to be facing a hard hitter in Bruno Silva. I don't think his chin will be able to take Bruno Silva's power. So I'm going to go with Bruno Silva.
Yeah, I'm going to have to as well. It's just Bruno Silva seems to come alive at the end of the fight. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Wright kind of picks him apart the first round or so, and then just Bruno Silva just decimates him in the second.
Yeah. Don't count Jordan Wright out,
The odds are really high in Bruno Silva's favor, but still.
Yeah, I'm just saying that because I watched the fight that Bruno Silva had with Andrew Sanchez, and
yeah, I've seen it.
He lost them. He did grapple with them, but this fight is staying on the feet, so I get why the odds are like that. So I guess we're both agreeing on this one. We're both going to go with Bruno Silva. So Augusto Sakai came into the UFC red hot. He went 5-0, 3 KO TKOs, rose the ranks, I think to top 5. Then gets on a 2-fight losing skid to Alistair Overeem, which would be Overeem's last win, and to Rosenstruck, both by vicious TKOs. He's finished 11 of his 15 wins, all by KO, and has a plus 1.1 striking differential, 66% takedown defense. A big downside is that his cardio isn't great, but that's most big guys. He's if he fought Overeem in a 3-round fight, Sakai would have taken that 29-28 in my book any day of the week. But it was a 5-round fight. He got TKO'd late in the 5th round.
Wait, wasn't that Rosenstrike that got KO'd late in the 5th round?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh no, that's Sakai. Sakai did, didn't he?
Oh yeah, they both got KO'd by Overeem in the 5th round. That's what they both have in common.
Legendary shit.
Augusto Sakai and
I would like to be on that too. That's great.
Rosenstrike. Yes, you beat up Overeem for a little bit, and then he just knocks you the fuck out.
He waits you out. He just gets beat up for a while, and then finally strikes when the time's right.
Rosenstrike did the opposite. Overeem was beating him, and then Rosenstrike knocked him out with a minute to
go.
Oh,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, or 4 seconds to go, or something like that.
Something wild shit, and then he almost died. At least it looked like it. He's gonna be Sakai's going to be taking on fan favorite Tai Tuivasa, 3-2 in his last 5. What?
The shoey.
Dude, yeah, I'm not afraid to say that he is a fan favorite, without a doubt. The guy's just very likable. 3-2 in his last 5, riding a 3-fight winning streak, all by KO TKO. 12 of his 13 wins coming by KO. He's got a +1 striking differential, 46% takedown defense. Competition-wise, Sakai has fought far better competition. And being on a 2-fight losing streak, his back is against the wall. Nevertheless, I see heavy leather thrown, so I don't know if I would bet on this one, but I'm gonna go with the fighter with his back against the wall in Augusto Sakai.
Really, I'm gonna go Tai Tuivasa. I like with these heavyweights, you really don't know. Yeah. I would just say this fight does not go the distance. I would be shocked if this fight goes the distance. One of these guys is getting knocked out, but I think Tai Tuivasa is going to be doing shoeys on his way out. So
you know what? I could see some freak decision for this fight. This fight is weird to me. I don't like it's close. I could see like a bizarre like split decision, unanimous decision type deal. But yeah. We're going to disagree. Dan's going to go with Tai Tuivasa. I'm going to go with Augusto Sakai. We're going to move right to the next one, which is Pedro Munhoz versus Dominic Cruz. Take it away, Dan.
All right, yeah. I'm going to start off with Pedro Munhoz because we all know Dominic Cruz. He lost his last fight to Jose Aldo, and Jose Aldo just fought last week. Jose Aldo, when he fought Rob Font, what won him that fight, Rob Font was, for the first round, picked him apart. Picked Jose apart, put on the pressure. Jose Aldo just got the knockdowns, and like the top control in the end that won him the fight. Personally, that's how I feel. But I feel like in a straight up like mano a mano situation, like Jose Aldo had the power, but fucking Rob Font was the more like skilled striker. You know what I'm saying?
I don't totally agree. I love Rob Font, but I think Jose Aldo just changed my whole entire mind once I think he might beat him I think he could have beat him in every single round.
I had it like I said it could be 48-47 or it could be 50-45 Aldo. That was my takeaway from the fight, because the first 2 rounds you could have given it to Rob Font because he was picking him apart.
Rob Font looked better early on for sure.
Yeah, but the knockdowns that Jose Aldo got in that fight, the power discrepancy was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So for those reasons, this fight, I'm gonna say goes the distance.
That's a solid bet right there, honestly. Also another close one. Solid bet, the distance.
Another close one. It's gonna be 2 strikers. Pedro Munhoz also had that 5-round back and forth fight with Frankie Edgar, where he lost a split decision last August. Right. So yeah, it's been like that's kind of showing you where his striking's at. Dominic Cruz, I think, is still maybe like he's around, if not like a slightly higher level. We haven't seen too much of him though, is the issue. We saw him against Triple C, where he kind of, he got finished. He said it was early. He doesn't like Keith Peterson.
No, he got beat in that fight for sure.
But then he went out and beat Kenney. I think he won that fight. But
Kenney really he did well.
Yeah,
he put on a good fight.
But Dominic Cruz is one of the most awkward fighters you can possibly fight in the UFC.
Yeah. With
the weird footwork, keeping his hands down, but it all somehow works out for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Cruz in this fight. I think he's able to get like a 29-28 unanimous decision, maybe a split decision. This fight's going to be razor thin. I'm going to take a look at the odds real quick. It's -120. It's +100 for Dominic Cruz. I'm seeing -1. I'm seeing pick'ems. Like this fight really is a pick'em. I'm gonna take Dominic Cruz and his awkwardness, and I'm not. I can't doubt the man. He's come back from so many obstacles and still wants to compete.
Yeah,
and he's the bantamweight goat. Like
he really is amazing, and his career. What was that win streak that he had? 12 wins in a row or something like that.
like going back into the WEC days, like
some ungodly number. It's like 12 wins, like or something like that. It's just absolutely insane. But
like Ian McCall, Joseph Benavidez, Brian Bowles, Joseph Benavidez again, Uriah Faber. He beat Demetrius Johnson. He beat TJ Dillashaw in his comeback fight after all that shit. To win the belt. Then he beat Uriah Faber again, and then he lost in that in Cody Garbrandt's greatest performance of all time,
right?
Which was that fight was honestly one of the most performance-wise. Cody Garbrandt was the best he ever looked that night, and he hasn't looked the same since then.
Really hasn't.
He was so disciplined. He was just perfect that night. But yeah, that and the Henry Cejudo loss are like the only losses he's had since 2007 when he got guillotined by Uriah Faber. So
yeah,
I'm gonna take Dominic Cruz in this one. He's 36. He's not as old as you think he is, and he's got a 23-3 record. He hasn't taken that much damage. He moves around so much. He doesn't get hit that much.
Yeah,
he rolls with the punches. Like I like Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, he is 1-1 since that 3-year hiatus that he had. Since like after those 2 losses. Oh well, after that 1 loss, he like took 3 years off.
But he did have a hiatus also, and then he came back and he beat TJ Dillashaw in a really close fight for the belt.
That's true. He was a younger guy.
I say you cannot say TJ Dillashaw is the bantamweight GOAT because Dom beat him.
No one will ever say that. That Casey Kenney fight, no, not you, like the other people. That Casey Kenney fight, back in March earlier this year was a split decision. It was a close fight. He had some struggling with Kenney, a guy who doesn't have the best takedown defense to begin with. He really struggled those first 2 rounds taking him down. He didn't take him down at all. I could have seen a possible favor, like I could have seen like why someone would have called it. One judge would have said like, "Oh, Kenney won that." But overall, I do think that he did enough to get it. That he did enough to get the win there.
So did I, and I had money on Casey Kenney. I was like, "Fuck Dominic Cruz."
His striking looked really good though. He turned it up in the 3rd. He outstruck Kenney 53-18. Got 2 takedowns finally after going like 0 for 7 or 0 for 8 or something like that. His cardio isn't in question, and neither is his IQ. I'm worried about that grappling. I really didn't like what I saw, that he wasn't able to take him down, because that's such a huge part of his game. But in recent future, he's really slowed down with that. He's had 2 takedowns over his last 3 fights, and before that, I think he had like 9.
Yeah, I mean, he mixed it up. I mean, he's still got that awkward stand up that you got to worry about, though.
Yeah, he does for sure. He's not to be left like. Yeah, he's sick.
I never get a Pedro Munhoz fight right. So either way, like I'll probably be wrong.
Well, okay. So Pedro Munhoz 2-3 in his last 5, losing his last time out to this new godly Jose Aldo. Not to mention 3 fight of the nights in his last 5 fights, which I think is just unheard of. It might sound good though. In reality, a lot of fight of the nights, but those are all wars. Getting into wars takes a toll on you. It's not a good thing to get into. It's good for the UFC, but it's not good for the fighter. He has a -0.5 striking differential, 43% accuracy, 80% takedown defense. Overall, wins mostly by submission, although his last 4 wins have either been by KO or decision. So he really has developed
well for every single fight recently.
Yeah, his game is much more well-rounded. He like took a totally different approach. this one is I'm not gonna lie, this one is so tough. I said that about a couple, but the last, it is. I'm not gonna lie, I think it is close. I think it's going the distance. I'm gonna go with Pedro. Not too confident, but I think
I'm not that I'm not very confident in Dom, but if I want to see Dom go out there and just be vintage Dominic Cruz and just be awful.
He was fun to watch, man. He was good.
Just coming with those weird angles with his hands down, just I love it.
Yeah, he was awesome. But we're going to disagree. Dan's going to go with Dominic Cruz. I'm going to go with Pedro Munhoz. And we're going to move right into the next one, which is Josh Emmett, Dan Ige. This one's me, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to start with Josh Emmett. 4-1 in his last 5. Currently on a 3-fight winning streak. Back-to-back performance of the night and fight of the night. He's recorded at least 1 knockdown over his last 6 fights. And he may well have the heaviest hands in the featherweight division. He has a plus 0.3 striking differential, 39% accuracy, and only has gotten taken down. He's only gotten 1 takedown over his last 5 fights. But that's what happens when you got like hands of steel like him. He just relies on his hands, expects people to get knocked out, which they do. He's taken on Dan Ige, 3-2 in his last 5, very well rounded. Has BJJ black belt and a background in judo. He's got some really technical boxing too to go along with it. He has a plus 0.4 striking differential at 46% accuracy, 1.4 takedowns per fight at 55% and 55% takedown defense. He's a tough guy, crazy solid chin. He's never been finished. All of his pro career losses coming by decision. If this fight goes to decision, which I think it will, again, another decision, I really like Dan Ige. He is the underdog. He's got to be the underdog. I mean, Josh Emmett just has so much hype because of his knockout power. But I'm going to go with Dan Ige in this one.
I'm going to take Ige as well. I know that I think the zombie surprised him a little bit in his last fight. He thought that they were going to stand up for 5 rounds. And
it was not that at all.
It was not that at all because Zombie was like, this guy might knock me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Dan Ige's got some fucking power in his hands too. He fucking knocked out, what's his name? Gavin Tucker.
Gavin Tucker's good.
He starch knocked him out. So both these guys have some heavy hands. I could see a finish either way, honestly, which is kind of crazy. But overall, I'm gonna try with Dan Ige.
Wow.
I love Josh Emmett. The guy's just
real. So much fun to watch.
What else can I say about him, man? Like I can't only good things I can say about Josh Emmett,
For sure.
But he is 36 years old. Dan Ige's
30.
in his mid. He's 30. Yeah, that's not like.
It's not bad.
Yeah, Dan Ige's more in his prime. I think he's just gonna be a little bit sharper on the feet, just a little bit.
It's I totally agree. It's a real shame, but Josh Emmett got into fighting really late. I think he got in at 31 years old. He got into like the pro fighting game. And I just wish we could have seen like a full career long Josh Emmett. He probably would have reigned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well could have.
So we're both going to go with a sizable underdog in Dan Ige in that one. Don't count Josh Emmett out. We're going to move right into the next one. Sean O'Malley versus Julian Paiva.
All right. This fight should be fun. People were calling Paiva a can when this fight just got announced. He was ranked 15, but he got removed from the rankings. He's only 26 years old. This guy's got a win over Kyler Phillips, Augusto Mugilov, Mark De La Rosa. He used to fight at 125. Now he's fighting at 135. This guy's a solid fucking fighter. There is no not you can't even argue that, he's Team Alpha Male. He's 26 years old. Both of these guys are fucking young and on the on the upswing, But the UFC loves themselves some Sean O'Malley.
Oh my God, yeah, they do. All right, I'm getting sick of them, honestly.
to be honest, I love myself some Sean O'Malley.
I know you do.
I mean, he had a grappling match against Hector Lombard.
That was pretty. Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, he lost, but yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. He just rubs me the wrong way.
I mean, yeah, it's just like
I think he thinks that he's like so much funnier and unique than he actually is. Like, he's not.
Yeah,
He's a good fighter, but yeah.
The way he fights, though, is just the way he fights is very unique.
Oh yeah, and it's super fun to watch. It's high volume, like Max Holloway style. No, barely touching you, and just outstriking you with crazy numbers
and with ridiculously fast spinning shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got some moves. He's got some kung fu, like moves.
Yeah, like Chris Weidman, don't throw a spinning back kick. Sean O'Malley, definitely throw a spinning back kick. You know, like
yeah, you might have a point there.
But yeah, he's a -300 favorite for a reason. The UFC setting him up to win to get that number next to his name, so then he can fight a ranked opponent next. Yeah, I know everybody on Twitter drags him, or everybody just drags him for not fighting.
I think MMA Twitter likes him. O'Malley overwhelmingly likes.
I would say it's 50-50 then, because a lot of people don't like Sean O'Malley. I know that.
Really? I see like only love for Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, I personally like Sean O'Malley. I love his fight style and how he really does have one punch knockout power too. Like he really goes into that shit.
Yeah, eventually I would like to see some of that. And not just
he did it to Eddie Wineland.
Yeah, poor Eddie Wineland, dude.
I mean, what he did to Eddie Wineland was fucking beautiful. Like,
yeah, it was awesome.
Fake uppercut and then fucking came up over the top with the right hand.
Yeah, his skills aren't in question. I think that he is like a really good fighter. It's just like his personality where I'm like, chill out, bro. Yeah, he is sick.
I think he's just trying to like build platforms. So like, if he's not the best, if he doesn't become a champion or he doesn't become a top 5 type guy, he still has all this hype behind him where people do love, like he has his fan base, and he could still have income coming in from there. So it's a smart move financially on his part. I know he's got his own NFTs and shit, like, so fucking yeah. Like, so yeah, he's constantly streaming fucking Call of Duty and shit, like, so
yeah, I know he's a huge streamer.
Yeah, he's like a streaming dude, and fucking I don't know. I just like
you're going with him.
I'm going with him.
He's going with them.
Guy, the UFC. I think he's better than Paiva.
Yeah, I agree. He's got that crazy high volume. What is it? Muay Thai? I think it's Muay Thai striking. He's got.
I think it's like kickboxing. You know, like.
Yeah. Similar. He landed 230 significant strikes on poor Chris Montino in his last time out. He averages 8.3 strikes per minute at 62% accuracy, a plus 4.5 striking differential, finishing 9 of his 14 wins by KO TKO. He's taken on Raulian Paiva, who has quietly built a 3-fight winning streak, beaten Kyler Phillips in his last time out.
That was a huge win.
Yeah, like people just like to hate on him, I think, just because they're comparing him to Sean O'Malley, but it's just a different fighter. Sean O'Malley is very unique. Although he was knocked down and almost got finished by Kyler Phillips in that fight, he still managed to win. He wins overwhelmingly by decision. 14 of his 21 wins coming by decision. He's got a minus 0.7 striking differential at 43% accuracy, 75% takedown defense. He's solid, very, very well-rounded. That being said, Sean O'Malley might get another KO in this one. I expect it to be early.
Yeah. I mean, how many takedowns per fight does Paiva average?
How many takedowns per whatever?
Yeah.
He averages 0.6.
So he's mostly a stand-up guy himself, you know?
Yeah.
Like that to back up my point, you know?
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley via sub?
No. You think?
We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that's still in the works.
All these grappling matches.
All right, let's start talking about Sean O'Malley. We're both going to go with Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
Move right into the next one. Kai Kara France versus Cody Garbrandt. And do you want this one, Dan?
I mean, I'll take it. Yes, I will.
Okay.
If you would like me to.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, so Kai Kara France, he's fucking dope. He's part of City Kickboxing. You know my love of City Kickboxing.
Yeah,
it's only two losses in the recent past are the Brandon Moreno, the champ, and the Brandon Royval, who is also pretty dope himself.
Yeah.
And he knocked out Rogério Bontorin in his last fight. That fight was fucking insane. Remember, like, Bontorin almost had him finished, and then, like, Kai Kara France almost knocked him out twice.
That was a fun fight.
Yeah. And he's greeting Cody Garbrandt to the flyweight division. My bad.
There you go.
Yeah, so Cody Garbrandt was an enormous prospect, and then he got that belt after the win against Dominic Cruz. He has some serious fucking power in his hands. And then he kind of let the emotions go in that 3-fight losing skid. He was like, fuck it, I'll take one to give one, you know? And you know, that made 3 knockout losses in a row. But then he came back and knocked Rafael Assunção out cold with a fucking it was like he closed his eyes and fucking threw a right hand and knocked him the fuck out.
That was sick.
And then he just most recently just got outpointed, just jabbed to death by Rob Font, who I think very highly of. It's just like even with his loss to Aldo, he's top tier. Yeah, so this fight's gonna be interesting. It's two guys that out of in the flyweight division, out of all divisions, have some serious knockout power. So like this fight could, like, normally when we're talking flyweights, we're like, who's getting the decision win in this one, you know?
Yeah.
Like this fight, somebody could very well be getting knocked out.
Yes, for sure.
The odd, like, and this fight is also incredibly close. It's just, I don't know which version. Like, it's hard to see what we're gonna see from Cody Garbrandt at 125. You're taking, so
he looks he looks emaciated. I saw him. He looks like a fucking skeleton. He
does. But he wasn't a particularly big 135er either.
Ah, that's true.
So, I mean, he's only he's 5'8".
Yeah, he's a thin guy already, but like I saw pictures of him like dieting down and stuff, and I was like, damn, fucking skin and bones.
Yeah. Kai Kara France does have the 1-inch reach advantage, but he does have a 4-inch height disadvantage. Yeah, this one's super fucking close. These guys are gonna stand up for 3 rounds, most likely. Or I could see Cody shooting in for some takedowns. Honestly, I could see that too.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna keep that in mind. Watch him shoot for a couple takedowns in this fight, and watch him get 1 or 2, because Kai Kara France can get taken down. We saw it in his last fight, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna ride with Cody Garbrandt very tentatively in this one. Wouldn't be surprised either way. This is another stay away from. It's just sit back and see what kind of happens.
Yeah, these fights, so many fights on this card are so damn close. I'm gonna start with Kai Kara France, 3-2 in his last 5, from City Kickboxing, like you said. But before that, he was from another elite gym, Tiger Muay Thai. So his striking is pretty elite. very technical. He's got a plus 1.2 striking differential at 86% takedown defense. Taking on Cody Garbrandt, who's 1-4 in his last 5. 3 of those losses by KO. Most recently, that unanimous decision Rob Font loss.
Yeah.
He in that fight though, he seemed to improve him just standing and banging with those guys, like you said before. Like he's actually like not just keeping his head out for people to just hit. He would just like move his shoulders and keep his head exactly in the same like place. But he in that Rob Font fight, at least he didn't do that. He did lose one-sidedly for sure.
But Rob Font has like such a long jab, you know, like it just he fights behind it so well, like everybody knows it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But Jose Aldo, he beat him.
Jose Aldo neutralized it with his power.
Yeah. No, he also looked. He was quick too. That being said, where was I?
We were talking about Jose Aldo.
Yeah, Jose Aldo. I'm gonna get right back into Cody Garbrandt. I know he's making his flyweight debut, but I honestly don't think it's gonna help. I don't know if that's a good move for him. I really don't. I don't really like it. I saw him; he didn't look good. I'm gonna go with Kai France in this one. Another close fight, but I can't wait for this one.
I can't wait either. But yeah, it's just this is a fight of the unknowns. You know, like if the Cody Garbrandt that showed up and beat Dominic Cruz shows up,
yeah,
he's winning. You know, but it's just like which Cody Garbrandt, what version of Cody Garbrandt are we going to see now? Because this is gonna.
I just can't.
Saw the top level of Cody Garbrandt. Then we saw the lowest level of Cody Garbrandt, and then we saw
like a medium. Like he won one, he lost one, but
then he rose up again a little bit, and now he's changing weight classes. I'm curious to see what happens. This fight is going to be a very good gauge on where, like, we can project him in the future. But yeah, I'm gonna take Cody Garbrandt in this one. Disagreeing, so
yeah, we're gonna move right into the next one. Jeff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio, and I'm gonna take this one if you don't mind, Dan.
Go right ahead.
All right, I have some choice words for this Jeff Neal character. I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing. I used to be a huge fan. I'm talking about inside and outside of the cage. Inside of the cage, he honestly has not looked good at all. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, back-to-back one-sided losses by unanimous decision. He hasn't looked good since his fight with Mike Perry 2 years ago, and we saw Mike Perry just slowly crumble. So that could have been like not even the highest version of Mike Perry that we saw. But
he beat Nico Price.
How many years are we going back?
It's only like 2.5. Almost.
What year is it?
3 years he beat Bilal Muhammad.
All right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. But outside the cage too, arrested 10 days ago, DUI, possession of a firearm. His mind is not in the game. You can obviously tell. I don't think his head is in the game right now. And he's going to be taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio, 1-1 since returning from a 3-year hiatus. He lost his first fight back against the Leech, but rebounded nice against Miguel Baeza. He's finished 23 of his 31 fights. That's counting the fights from Tough Brazil. 17 of those by KO TKO. A bit of a slow starter, whereas Jeff Neal like ends the fight slow. Santiago starts the fight slow. So it kind of evens out. But I think I like Ponzinibbio in this one. I cannot trust Jeff Neal right now.
I mean, MMA math will tell you Ponzinibbio knocked out Neil Magny, and Jeff Neal lost to Neil Magny.
Right. That always works.
And they both have wins over Mike Perry.
Right.
Not saying much.
But bare knuckle split decision victory like 3 weeks ago. Not good.
Like the triangle or something now.
Yeah. The triad.
But yeah, I'm gonna ride with Ponzinibbio. I don't like how Jeff Neal's looked recently. He got outclassed by Stephen Thompson in that fight.
He got outclassed by Neil Magny. Outclassed. Not even close.
He really did.
Yeah.
And speaking of Neil Magny, I think that would be the perfect next opponent for Khamzat Chimaev, but I think Gilbert Burns has that spot, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a bloodbath.
I mean,
Neil Magny, I think, is at least a higher level of competition.
You think Neil Magny is a higher level of competition than Gilbert Burns?
Oh, I thought you said Herbert Burns. He's going to go all the way to Gilbert Burns?
Yeah, Gilbert Burns is giving him a shot.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Herbert Burns, the brother. That's like sucks.
No, Herbert Burns just fucks me over when I gamble. Either way, in this fight, I'm taking Santiago Ponzinibbio. Yeah, I don't trust Jeff Neal anymore. He's let me down the last 2 times I've bet on him. I can't trust the man.
Totally agree, dude. We're both agreeing. We're both going to go with Santiago Ponzinibbio. We're going to move right into the next one. You want to take this one, Dan?
Yeah, I got it.
Take it away.
All right, so we got the woman's bantamweight GOAT, because I'm not going to call her the woman's GOAT because there is someone named Valentina Shevchenko that made a very, very close fight with her.
Come on. She's the GOAT.
Dude, go back and watch UFC 215 in 2017 when they fought for 5 rounds and tell me Valentina didn't edge that out a little bit. Just saying.
You're crazy.
I think that, who do you think's okay, better question. If they're 2 different weight classes, obviously.
Right.
Who's the more skilled fighter, Valentina or Amanda Nunes?
I think Amanda Nunes has more well-rounded game.
See, I'm going to disagree with you there. I think that Valentina has the more well-rounded game.
She likes to strike, Valentina.
And she takes people down and puts them in crucifix positions and fucking elbows them to fucking TKOs.
How many of those?
She's taken down, like, I feel like every single opponent she's had recently. She's very good on the ground.
Okay.
So when it's like who is the woman's GOAT, I'm like, it's got me questioning it now because Valentina is just so well-rounded. And we have seen in the last 2 years, we have seen Amanda Nunes struggle. And that was that fight against Germaine de Randamie, where she dropped Germaine de Randamie in the first round, gassed herself out. Germaine de Randamie rocked her in the second round, and then Amanda Nunes stalled and took her down for the last 3 rounds of that fight. But she very well could have lost that fight to anybody that would have had a ground game. Which makes me question if Juliana Pena can keep pace with that, what can happen in this fight? The answer is I'm still taking Amanda Nunes because I can't not. But at the same time, Juliana Pena, I think, really does have, like, out of Amanda Nunes' last couple of opponents, Megan Anderson had no chance. Felicia Spencer had no chance. Germaine de Randamie had no chance because she had no ground game. Holly Holm, she's kind of been over the hill, you know, like Chris Cyborg was the great, you know, like was the fight that made her the GOAT, you know?
Yeah.
And she's done nothing but win since, but she did have, like, everybody forgets about that Germaine de Randamie fight, and that the GDR fight really showed something in it where it's like,
I know, but also, like, you can say for the last 3 rounds, Amanda Nunes took her down for over 4 minutes. Like, it was obviously that Amanda Nunes won all 3 of those rounds. And the first round.
But it's because Germaine de Randamie couldn't get back up.
Exactly. She gassed out and was still able to just, like, keep her on the ground. Shows how strong she is. Juliana Pena is a 125er. You know what I mean? At heart, she's a 125er.
Not really. I mean, she lost by submission to GDR, which is not a good look. And she lost to Valentina Shevchenko via armbar, but still, like, she did finish Sarah McMahon and looked impressive doing it earlier on this year. And she's just got that wrestling background, and she's got the win over Kat Zingano as well. The Kat Zingano versus Amanda Nunes fight, which is the last loss that Amanda Nunes has on her record. She was winning that fight and she gassed out and she got finished in the third round. So Amanda Nunes is you could say she's the GOAT, but like at the same time, she's got gas tank issues.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on every one of the points you made.
But Amanda Nunes is still probably going to just drop an overhand right on Juliana Pena, and she's not going to know what the
honestly, yeah, I don't know what these odds are on this, but I do think Amanda Nunes is the GOAT, and I think that she's able to take this one pretty one-sided.
Minus 900 favorite. I was just making a case for the plus 600.
I thought for a while that you were actually going to go with her, and I was going to be like, dude, this guy's like fucking smoking the good shit.
I mean, I am, but
but he's still making the right decisions. Good guy. We're both going to go with Amanda Nunes in that one. We're going to move right into the main event.
Hey, I wouldn't be shocked if she drops Pena in the first or second round, empties the gas tank, and then Pena gets that top control. And
you wouldn't be surprised.
I would be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm going to need that good shit, Dan. We're going to agree on this one. We're both going to go with Amanda Nunes. We're going to move right into the main event. Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. And let me start this one with the champ, Charles Oliveira, currently riding a 9-fight winning streak, 7 of those being performance of the nights, which is just, that's pretty crazy, right? 7 out of his 9 last wins were performance of the nights. He's finished 28 of his 31 wins, mostly by sub. Yeah, the guy's got some losses, but he got better, really turned into like a better version of himself from those losses.
He's become a full mixed martial artist fighting out of the best gym in Brazil. Like, yeah, he's a complete, well-rounded mixed fighter fighting at his highest.
Yeah. And he makes very smart decisions now. His IQ is definitely improved too. He's got a slightly positive striking differential at 52% accuracy, 2.6 takedowns per fight at 44% accuracy, 57% takedown defense. Taking on Dustin Poirier, who's 4-1 in his last 5. He's spent all of 2021 beating a shell of himself, Conor McGregor. He has a plus 1.4 striking differential at 50% accuracy, 1.5 takedowns per fight at 6 and 61% takedown defense. In my opinion, Dustin Poirier should have been champ. I do think he's the most talented guy at 155. He was just tied up in that money-making fight trilogy with Conor McGregor, and who can blame him? He made fucking a huge.
Give him some problems, though.
What'd you say?
Justin Gaethje could give him some problems.
Oh, I love me some Justin Gaethje. Don't get me started.
I mean, he already has a knockout win over Justin Gaethje, but like,
right. I would like to see.
I would like to. They're gonna.
I would
Justin
like to,
fighting the winner of these two.
Yes, I would love to see that. But now I think the best lightweight in the division finally got. He's free from that trilogy. That who can, like I said before, like you can't blame the guy from taking those Conor McGregor fights. I think Dustin Poirier takes this one, but Charles Oliveira, like I've never seen a guy turn around a career more than Charles Oliveira. He really did.
He grew up in front of our eyes.
Yeah, and 9-fight winning streak. He's fucking killing it. You never know. You honestly never know. You can't count the guy out.
I'm definitely not counting out Charles Oliveira.
Yeah. Good man.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn. All right.
Yeah, Charles Oliveira can strike too. Like if you've seen the evolution of his striking game over the last couple of years, he went from like decent below average to like pretty high level striker as well.
Yeah.
With good wrestling and phenomenal jiu-jitsu. That being said, Dustin Poirier is, in my opinion, amongst the top 3 or 4 straight boxers in the UFC. You can throw Max Holloway's name in there. You can throw what's his name? Piotr Jan's name in there.
Hell yeah.
Fucking they're just all great. Even Conor McGregor, great. He's a great boxer himself, you know?
Yeah, he is.
But on the real, Dustin he didn't knock him out cold, but he definitely finished Conor McGregor, and he was definitely on his way to finishing him second time. I don't care what anybody says about UFC 264 and the broken ankle thing. Dustin Poirier was putting a whooping on that boy, and he was going to put a whooping on him in the second round. He probably would have stopped it there too. So I'm going to go with Dustin Poirier, but I would not be surprised if Charles Oliveira gets this, because what everybody does is doubt him. They doubted him against Tony Ferguson, us included. Actually, no, they doubted him against Kevin Lee because Kevin Lee was training under the Faraz Sahabi, and everybody's like, oh, Kevin Lee's like, they doubted him there. They doubted him against Tony Ferguson. People even doubted him against Michael Chandler. I know I didn't doubt him against Michael Chandler, but I'm going to pick against him, but I'm not doubting him. But I'm riding with Dustin Poirier in this one. I think the Diamond and the Highlight are going to have a really fun matchup in the first quarter of 2022.
Possible fight of the year on the last pay-per-view of 2021.
It could be. I just don't see with this fight. It's like, how do you think it's gonna go?
That's what I'm saying. Like this is just like, you know, when you see like those like cartoons and it's just like two things and there's just like a ball of dust rolling around and you can't see what's going to happen. That's what I'm seeing for this fight.
Yeah, I just don't know. But my best prediction is that Poirier wins because he's been beating everybody. I mean, he really has been.
Yeah.
He finished Eddie Alvarez. He finished Justin Gaethje. He beat the shit out of fucking Max Holloway. That was a short notice fight, but still. He had that war with Dan Hooker where he just didn't give a fuck and just brawled for 5 rounds. He systematically destroyed Conor McGregor, and then twice actually. And now he's fighting for the belt. He finally he's had interim gold before.
Yeah, that doesn't count though. And
it's time for him to. He deserves to have the real belt.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
So I'll end it on that. I love myself. I love both of these fighters. They're two of my favorite fighters.
At 155, it's like the cream of the crop right now. Doesn't get better than this. 155,
like
Justin Gaethje,
Makhachev and Beneil Dariush. That fight's gonna be super interesting. I got it, but still, like,
yeah. Beneil Dariush has been very quiet.
Very quiet.
Very quiet. He's afraid, and I would be too. Who can blame him? But we're done. UFC 269. UFC 269. This is a long ass episode, so buckle up for this one. Holy cow.
Yeah. We had some breaks and pauses, but yeah.
That's true. All right.